From the pages of MikeHuckabee.com, where you'll find my columns, hot takes on news of the day, and daily Bible verses. Yeah, we read those more now than ever. Let's take a look back at the week that was. And to get the pages of MikeHuckabee.com delivered right to your email inbox twice a day, all you got to do is sign up for my totally free newsletter. The Joe Biden administration was mostly missing in action this week as more than a dozen U.S. service members got killed in terror attacks in Afghanistan. This completely predictable but preventable nightmare played out on TV screens worldwide. And Joe Biden didn't say a word about any of it for hours, while the death toll continued to rise, all as the result of complex attacks in and around Kabul. Thursday turned out to be the deadliest day for U.S. troops in a decade. But here's Joe Biden just a week ago.
Still a lot of pandemonium outside the airport.
Well, there is, but look, but no one's being killed right now. God forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but no one's being killed right now.
Turns out knocking on wood is not a viable strategy, Mr. President. This national disgrace was avoidable, and American service members have been killed as a direct result of your feckless so-called leadership. There's a reason why Bob Gates, Barack Obama's defense secretary, said that you have been wrong on every foreign policy decision over the last 4 decades. This is exactly why. And now even CNN, the communist news network, is acknowledging that Afghanistan has turned into, well, just take a look.
Kabul remains a target-rich environment. There are loads of civilians still trying to get into that airport, other targets around the city. And the fact is that Afghanistan has become, in recent weeks, something of a Disneyland for terrorists of all sorts, not just ISIS-K. Remember, Taliban itself is a terrorist organization, but you have many other recruits coming in from around the world and coming there.
A Disneyland for terrorists. And it happened in a little over a week after a disastrous pullout that saw Bagram Air Force Base shut down and our $800 million embassy turned over to the Taliban and God knows what other terror groups that decide to make it their own Disneyland. These groups are now enjoying nearly $100 billion worth of American equipment, including 75,000 vehicles and more Black Hawk helicopters than 85% of the rest of the world. They've also got several 100,000 fully automatic weapons, ammunition, body armor, next-gen light and night vision, and more than 150,000 radio and communication devices. In other words, a military superpower starter pack. And by the way, it's all courtesy of your tax dollars. But the biggest blunder of all might be this one. Politico reported that the U.S. officials in Kabul gave the Taliban a list of names of American citizens, green card holders, and Afghan allies to grant entry into the militant-controlled outer perimeter of the Kabul airport. The move was designed to expedite the evacuation of tens of thousands of people from Afghanistan. Ultimately, the Taliban were handed a hit list. The stupidity here is staggering, almost beyond belief. Joe Biden didn't deny this happened. In his Thursday press conference, he acknowledged that there may have been such a list. May God help everyone who is on that list and who haven't yet made it out of the country. On to the Twitterverse we go, and to Sam Harris, author, who said this on January 20th of this year, quote, feeling overwhelming gratitude for the adults in the room, end quote. Well, he updated that on Thursday saying, quote, publicly eating these words, syllable by syllable, end quote. I'll say kudos to Sam on that. If only some of the know-it-all so-called adults in Washington would admit to their own mistakes. And here's my take on a report that the Taliban, if formally recognized as a government, is likely to take over a seat on the UN Commission on the Status of Women. At least that's according to their former ambassador to the UN, our former ambassador, John Bolton. My tweet to that: the UN is useless. It's entirely possible that if the Taliban forms a functioning Afghanistan government, they'll get a seat on the UN's Commission on the Status of Women. Now, these are the men who believe that women only have two statuses, property or corpse. Now on to this week's Shame on You. MSNBC analyst Malcolm Nance, who decided to put out this brilliant take on a day when more than a dozen U.S. service members were murdered by terrorists. He said, and I quote, "For your information, there have been terrorist suicide bombers killing civilians nearly daily in Afghanistan. This ain't new. It's why we're leaving. Hashtag deal with it." End quote. That's like saying it's no big deal that 50 people got shot on any given weekend in Chicago. No big deal because it happens all the time. Somehow, I don't think the families of those killed, whether they're in Chicago or Kabul, I seriously doubt they share your callous indifference. Finally, a shout out to CNN. That's right. An important report exclusive to CNN Business reveals that the Wendy's fast food chain is changing its French fry recipe. They're also rolling out new fry baskets. CNN says Wendy's spent the past 4 years researching how to upgrade their fries. About 20 different designs were considered. Wendy's president Kurt Kane, again in this exclusive interview, says, quote, "We used a batter system that allows us to be able to maintain crispness both when they're fresh and hot and out of the fryer, as well as several minutes later." He added, "What the new fry baskets do is enable us to make sure that we fry the fries correctly each and every time." With all the news going on this week, that is why CNN is considered the most trusted name in news. They should be so proud. Well, until next time, these have been the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.